the never-ending night. The town of Ashwood was never the same after the sun stopped rising. It started with a typical winter morning, but as the days passed, the darkness lingered, refusing to yield to the light. At first, the residents were confused, thinking it was just a prolonged eclipse or a freak weather pattern. But as the weeks went by, the reality of their situation became clear. The sun was gone, and the night was never-ending. As the darkness deepened, the town's inhabitants began to change. They became irritable, withdrawn, and paranoid. The once peaceful streets of Ashwood were now filled with the sounds of arguments, screams, and wailing sirens. But it wasn't just the humans who were affected. The darkness seemed to have a life of its own, and it was bringing forth creatures that defied explanation. Shadowy figures lurked in the alleys, their eyes glowing like embers. Strange noises echoed through the night, like the howling of wolves or the creaking of trees. As the nights wore on, the townspeople began to disappear. At first, it was just a few scattered reports, but soon the numbers grew, and the people of Ashwood realized that they were being hunted. Ava, a young and determined journalist, decided to investigate the strange occurrences. She scoured the town, talking to witnesses and gathering clues. But the more she dug, the more she realized that the truth was far more sinister than she had ever imagined. The darkness, it seemed, was not just a natural phenomenon. It was a living, breathing entity that had been awakened by some unknown force. And it was hungry. As Ava delved deeper into the mystery, she found herself facing unimaginable horrors. She encountered creatures that seemed to be made of darkness itself, their bodies twisting and contorting like living shadows. Despite the danger, Ava refused to back down. She was determined to uncover the truth behind the never-ending night, even if it meant risking her own life. As the nights wore on, Ava found herself drawn to an abandoned church on the outskirts of town. It was a place of dark legend, where the townspeople whispered of ancient rituals and forbidden knowledge. Ava approached the church with trepidation, feeling the weight of the darkness pressing down upon her. But as she stepped inside, she saw something that made her blood run cold. The church was filled with strange symbols, etched into the walls and floor. They seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, as if they were alive. And in the center of the room, Ava saw a figure standing on the altar. It was a woman, her face twisted into a grotesque grin. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, and her presence seemed to fill the room with an unspeakable horror. Ava knew that she had stumbled into something ancient and evil. The woman on the altar was a priestess of the darkness, and she was summoning forth a power that would consume them all. As Ava turned to flee, she felt the darkness closing in around her. The symbols on the walls seemed to be shifting, forming a pattern that would unleash a horror beyond comprehension. Ava knew that she had to act fast. She grabbed her camera and took a photo of the symbols, hoping to capture some evidence of the evil that was unfolding. But as she looked at the photo,